Hi, I'm Dean Ayass, otherwise known as the Twisted Genius, and I've been working in British wrestling since 1993. I've been a manager, a commentator and a ring announcer, and today I'm here to share with you my top 5 tips for being a wrestling manager. So, tip number 1 is what you wear, your costume, your attire. A manager doesn't want to just look like a bloke in an office, someone you'd see down the street, down the pub. You want to stand out, and the main thing for me is that you wear something that you wouldn't dare to wear in public. So you think about Bobby Heenans and his jackets with sequins and designs down the sleeves, Jimmy Hart maybe with his custom airbrush jackets, or even myself, I have a jacket with Twisted Genius written on the back in sequins, which I most certainly wouldn't go to a restaurant in. Although living in Brighton, I'd probably get away with it. So you want to look larger than life. That is what wrestling is all about. As Andre Baker, my mentor, said to me, if people want to watch their next door neighbour have a fight, they'll go to the pub, not a wrestling show. Look larger than life. Point 2. Remember, you are not the star of the show. A wrestler will have a manager for a very specific purpose, to do the talking for them. They may be an excellent, proficient wrestler, but they don't have the gift of the gab, they don't have the character. That is where the manager comes in. So you are a double act, but you are the accessory to the star. When you do a promo, you don't talk about how great you are, you talk about how great your client, your wrestler is. Paul Heyman is a master at this. You listen to his promos, he never talks about what he does, he'll always talk about what Brock Lesnar does, how he is so dangerous, why he is going to win the next match. You are the hype man. In a promo, you are that added threat in a match, but you are not the star of the show. The focus of the crowd should always be on your wrestler, not on yourself. Point 3. Always face the hard cam. So when I go to a new venue, or even if I'm at a familiar venue, but I just want to check nothing's changed, I always find out where the hard cam is. The hard cam is the fixed camera mounted on a tripod, unmanned, that is used to film the whole show from one perspective of covering the entire ring. And it's where the editor of the show will base their footage on. Now, in independent wrestling, you're pretty much guaranteed that a camera or two will be at every show, because promoters want to film them shows, put that footage out and make some money from it. So a genuine house show where there is no camera is very, very rare these days. So again, I'm going to point to Paul Heyman as a master of this. Other managers are very good at it as well, but he is brilliant in that he will always make sure that he is facing the hard cam, because that is the angle that most of the match will be filmed from. And the reason for doing this is because you're therefore always in the viewer's eye line. Not necessarily in the foreground, but just there, in the background, just as a threat. And what that does is it just puts that little seed of doubt in the viewer's subconscious that you're there as an extra person. You're giving a numbers advantage to your wrestler because you're a heel, you're a manager. You could theoretically interfere at any time in the match and turn the tide, or even directly influence the result of the matchup they are watching. So by staying in the hard cam, you are putting your threat in the back of the mind of the viewer for the entire duration and putting the babyface in peril. Point 4. Focus on the match, not the crowd. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's not about you. You're not the star of the show. The wrestlers in the ring are. So you should, as a manager, be reacting to everything that happens. Flinch with each blow that your wrestler receives. Look worried, look like your world is about to end if they're in danger of losing the match, if the ref hits to a 2 count, but you just kick out on 3. Look smug, look overjoyed when things are going well for your wrestler. But if you're not focusing on the match in the ring, then why on earth should the crowd focus on the match as well? See what I mean? But also listen and read and feel that crowd. Between you and your wrestler, you should be able to sense if the crowd are down at a point you want them to be up. And that's where you as a manager can step in, turn your back briefly, look at the crowd, give them a verbal, give them something to just bring them up a bit, or maybe look to your wrestler to get them to put their babyface opponent over to the ropes so you can choke them out while the ref's distracted. Anything that just gets that crowd back up in their energy, reinvesting in the match. But remember, the focus, as I said, should always be on the in-ring action. And finally, point number 5, learn to bump. It's a very good idea as a manager, even though you're a non-physical participant in a wrestling show, to learn the basics of wrestling and the basics of how to take a bump, how to take moves. And there's a very simple reason for this. I have seen many times where there's been a wrestler, quite often an established international star as well, someone with great experience behind them, and they come in as a babyface, big reaction, they win their match, or they get cheated out of the match by the heel, or whatever it might be. But then the manager gets attacked by that wrestler. And I've seen so many times where the manager has gone up for the finishing move or a big move of the babyface, and they can't get them up properly. And you're looking and you're thinking, well, you managed to lift the 18-stone wrestler, but this guy can't lift the 10-stone manager. It looks ridiculous. It's disrespectful to the wrestler you're working with to not make them look good, because that's what you're doing. Whenever you're selling a move, whether you're a manager or a wrestler, you're selling to make your opponent look good. So learn how to bump, learn how to fall properly so that you can, on the rare occasions that you need to take a bump, you can do it properly. And what I've always done as well is walked through things with people, rehearsed moves, just so I know how to take something, I know what it's going to feel like, and I know then how to put my whole body into something to make it look as good for the audience and as good for the wrestler I'm selling for. So number 5, learn your basic bumps. So that's your top 5 tips from me on how to be a manager. Number 1, what you wear, your costume is important. Number 2, remember you're not the star of the show. Number 3, always face the hard cam. Number 4, focus on the match. And number 5, learn your bumps. Good luck with your managing, folks. I've been the Twisted Genius. Thanks for watching.